24/7 Fusion Media. Light the fires, Valhalla, for Stone Cold Loki! Special guest, Classic Comics! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Comic Book Roundtable! Greetings, one and all, and welcome to the Comic Book Roundtable. I'm your host, Stone Loki, and of course, with me tonight are my co-hosts, Clobberin Times. What's up, brother?
Hey, buddy. Hello there, my good friends on the panel and chat. Hey there. Ready for some comicing.
And of course, 24/7 Fusion Media is going to blow that shit up.
Hell yeah, man. Glad to be here. Like I say, what's up to the chat, everybody on the panel. Happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. And we've got a special guest tonight. You saw him last week, and he has decided to come back again and hang out with us. Classic Comics. What is going on, my friend? How are you doing?
Hello, Loki. Thanks for having me on again. And hello to Clobberin Times and 24/7, and hello to the chat as well.
Classic Comics, a.k.a. the Phantom of the Paradise.
Yep.
So the question tonight is, what the hell is DC Comics doing? What is Warner Brothers doing? Oh my! I've seen these reports about Black Adam, about the end of the movie. Now it's absolutely positively a cringe fest. Waller's like, I got my dog on a chain. If you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to sick my dog on you. And then it's Superman. Superman's her dog on the chain. Wow, really? Really? Superman's a dog on the chain? That's how we're gonna end the movie, is being like, I got my dog.
Huh.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, prospects aren't promising for Black Adam. The box office projections are not good, and the reviews have been pretty bad too. But I don't know what to make of that. The critics, who knows?
I saw a fairly reliable one. He did a spoiler-free review on the Film Threat cast today. Al only go, where he was a pretty good dude. He and Chris Gore talked about it. Gore hadn't seen it yet, but his partner had, and he's a really easygoing guy. He's very nice on everything. He didn't hate it or anything. Just said it was just it was pretty much sort of there to him. Same old stuff you've seen a million times. Sounds like from him. So make of that what you will.
Chris Berger says, just when you think Zaslav is moving WB one step forward, but I mean, he hasn't been like back that long, and this has obviously been in production for a while. So did they change the end of this? More reshoots? They're reshooting Aquaman again? Again?
Yeah, I heard Aquaman was a big dumpster fire, man. I heard it was
oh wow.
I heard it was actually on the level of like, let's save the environment. Well, more on some Greta Thunberg type of shit.
Oh, well.
Yeah, like,
you know, because
the thing is, he wrote he helped write the script and the whole shit, from what I heard.
Who,
You know,
Momo?
he's on this big environmental, let's save the environment type shit. That's why he shaved his head and got the tattoos and all that other shit. And he
Talk about
implemented some.
Jason Momo.
Yeah, Aquaman.
Okay.
Yeah, and he ended up putting that shit like in the movie where he was gonna be trying to save the waters, the environment. You know, so
Jesus.
eco-friendly. Like he's on some Captain Planet type shit right now. So
Wow.
yeah, basically that's what's in there, and I think that might actually tank the movie. Is just because it's in it's going in a whole nother direction. He's on some Superman, quest for peace.
We lost you.
What do you do with that?
We lost you for just a minute.
Oh,
last thing we were just saying.
No, I was like, he's on some Superman quest for peace type shit. I said, so what do you do with that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that. If that's what's going on, then sounds bloody awful. And maybe Zaslav got a hold of that and said, look, I already just canceled one movie because it's kind of crap.
Your Muslim uncle sends in a $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Your Muslim uncle and says, Are there any Black Adam comic fans on the panel? I know a little bit about Kondak. I'm wanting to hear what a fan is worried about because I only watched 2 reviews and I'm not worried.
I would say that I'm not a fan of the character. I like him as a villain for Teth Adam in the of course his original only appearance where he was created by Otto Binder and C.C. Beck, and then later popped up in the DC revival of the Shazam comic in the 70s as a villain. He's one, who popped up a few times back then. I'm fine. I hate this anti-hero version of him even before The Rock became fetishized as the character 12, 13, 15 years ago. There were all these fans who were liking this ridiculous anti-hero version of him that people like so much. So I have to admit, I have nothing for him. Zero. I mean, I just never really thought anything of him whatsoever. I've read a bunch of those issues that he was popping up in here and there around that time, like back in the aughts or whatever. And personally, had never had any regard for him whatsoever. So there's one of us out. Anybody else?
I always saw him as a villain. I had no idea that there was this anti-hero version of him until The Rock said something, and I looked into it. I knew that in the Injustice, he was in the Injustice 2 comics. I knew about that, but I never knew he was this anti-hero until The Rock started getting into it. Whoa. So everything I know about him is a villain. He's a villain. He's a bad guy.
He's still a villain, as far as I'm concerned. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got to be real, I got like every Captain Marvel comic from the Power of Shazam issue number, from the 70s. I got every issue, every comic, every story. I even got shit that look. This is what it is, man. He started becoming on some anti-hero kind of shit when he started getting with the Just Society of America.
Yes.
And that was well, actually that was during
or maybe James Robinson started doing it, but one of them did.
I think it was Jeff Johns, wasn't it?
It was Ordway, Jerry Ordway's run of.
You talking about when Ordway on Power Shazam?
Yeah, on Power Shazam. That's
the 90s. I mean, he was a bad guy.
Yeah, that's a 90s series.
Right.
He was a bad guy.
Right, and from they started crossing because at that moment during that run, Captain Marvel became a member of the Just Society as well. So the Just Society of America had Captain Marvel and Black Adam on the fucking same team.
Yeah,
actually they could have fucking took on the Justice League and actually kicked their dude. The 90s JSA is fucking awesome, man. And Black Adam started turning, but what happened was as he was starting to understand how it was to become a protector, and he started dealing with Kondak and Kandak or whatever you want to call it. Hawkman, right? And Hawkman just got revived again. So he had died and he had just came back. He had resurrected, because of his old curse of always coming back. So he had just came back into the fold, and that's when him and Black Adam started getting into it. So the whole rivalry that goes back to the JSA comics. I own it. They're in the fucking next room. So I like I say, they're, but the thing is they spun it around. They spun it around to where it's like they're not telling. That's what I hate. They don't tell the story the way it's supposed to, and if they did, it would be more of a compelling story. Like you sit there and you watch the previews. They have Black Adam in like this Bechtel tank kind of deal. He never needed no bullshit like that.
No.
He's basically on the level of being a god. He's powered by all the gods. I mean, why the fuck does he need a fucking tank of water to keep him going or some shit? I don't know. They're making up a bunch of shit, and the thing is, he's not acting or talking like someone that's been gone for fucking thousands of years. So that's where the whole thing with The Rock is kind of fucking with me at, and then the fact that he the new 52 version of Black Adam instead of doing his straight up origin story or even doing the Jerry Ordway version. I don't know.
That's always the warning sign of untalented writers, when you've got someone that's taken out of time, or you have something that's done back in time or forward in time, where they're using language and expression like they do today. When you say something that's very like excellent or something from like the 90s, but you're supposed to be in the 1800s, or you're supposed to be in like 2100, there's a fucking problem. Right. People don't talk like that then, they talk like that now. So when you're using expression and language that is used now, but it's an out of time process, that's idiots write like that, not talented writers.
Yep.
Well, the crazy part is you have Jaime Collet-Serra, which is the director. He's the director from the Jungle Cruise movie. And even in that movie, he had The Rock. And The Rock was supposed to play a conquistador from a fucking couple of 100 or 1,000 years ago or some shit. And The Rock is talking like some motherfucker from today in the Jungle Cruise movie. And it's the same shit he's doing in Black Adam. Motherfucker's been gone for thousands of years. He comes back. He's like, hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? Like, what the fuck?
I saw that clip where he said that. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, come on, man. So I don't know, man. I doesn't know how to play the role or even try to fucking fake the accent.
I hear you, dude.
Well, I guess I'm going to be in the minority. I actually kind of like the more anti-hero version of Black Adam. I thought it was an interesting change. They kind of made him into DC's version of Namor, where he's not necessarily, he doesn't have necessarily evil goals or motivations, but he's very arrogant and will listen to anybody, and he's convinced he's right, and he believes the end justifies the means. As far as the movie goes, the main issue I have is that he doesn't really look like Black Adam. He doesn't have the pointed ears. He doesn't have kind of the widow's peak. I'd prefer it if he looked more like him.
He's got to look like The Rock. You know how that is. Anytime it's got to be a Rock vehicle, this thing. Right. Because fanboys have, for like maybe 10, 12 years or more, have been saying The Rock should be Black Adam in a movie. They just somehow, some idiot on the internet got that in their head that should happen, and eventually it got to him. And he claimed he was a Superman fan and all that stuff. I guess he was. He didn't know who Black Adam was till a bunch of fans started yelling and clamoring that he should play him in a movie, and it'd been going on for years and years and years, people talking about it, and I guess they spoke it into existence. So,
well, a long time ago, I went and saw this movie called The Scorpion King.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I went home and I said, this son of a bitch is going to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you know what Arnold Schwarzenegger does in every movie? He plays Arnold Schwarzenegger. He doesn't play other people. Much. He's always, hello, tumor, it's a tumor. You know what Rock does? He's like, Akuma Sente. That's Rock in every movie. He always is Rock. He is the Rock. So yeah, I fully expect him to call Dr. Fate a jabroni. Or ask him what he's cooking.
A jabroni. Okay.
Jabroni.
Suplex him.
That's better than calling him a brony, I guess.
I fully expect him to do some kind of wrestling move in the movie against somebody. I don't know who it'll be.
I think. I think if he does one, it'll probably be like a clothesline, if anything.
it'll be something.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I know, Chris. I'm just saying that the other day I read an interview with The Rock. Said he was a big Superman fan. It was his favorite character until he discovered Black Adam. That's what he said. I mean, maybe it's not true, but I saw an interview. The Rock.
Oh.
and sometimes that really works. I liked it when he showed up in the Fast and the Furious movies. I liked it when Dom finally had a foil to be like, "No, bitch, I'll beat your ass." He stops being superhuman, and I liked that whole aspect. But those movies got old, and yeah. But at the time, I liked him. He shows up. He's a boss.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm gonna track these son of bitches down. They're on the run. Lock and load, gentlemen, and let's go get us some convicts." Hell yeah, go after it. I like the idea. I've liked him in other movies, and then there's been shit like the Tooth Fairy and shit like that I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah, the Tooth Fairy. I don't know. That was typecasting. Just kidding.
But I mean, if you like The Rock, you like The Rock. Maybe if you really love The Rock, you really love this movie. I'm not going to down on you for that. I'm not going to call you an idiot if you go and see this movie and you love The Rock and have wanted to see The Rock play this character.
I'm not doing that either. But if I go see it, I want you to call me an idiot, please.
Me, to be honest, I gotta see this movie, man. I've been talking about it ever since I damn near had almost as long as I've had my channel. So I'd be the biggest hypocrite that once Black Adam drops, I don't check it. Fuck that. I gotta put my eyes on it. Yeah,
even
for better
tomorrow at that theater with your popcorn, Bo.
Even in Be Cool though, Southern Viking, he still gives the eyebrow. He still does the like eye roll thing where he's like, "Oh yeah," and yeah, he's gay. But I mean,
yeah, oh, is he?
Yeah,
I haven't heard of that.
And Be Cool. That's Be Cool. It's the movie with John Travolta and
yeah. Let's be cool, yeah.
Be Cool. So
it's
the first time John Travolta and Uma Thurman got back together since
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. Thank you.
Right.
It's the first movie they got back together since Pulp Fiction. So it was like at the time it was a big deal.
Oh. Okay.
So did you ever see Get Shorty, Clobberin?
I'm not a big John Revolting guy.
Okay, well, John Travolta did a movie called Get Shorty, and this is like the sequel to that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah. Got you covered. Hey, Keely Chow, roll tide next week.
But, I mean, that's why people were hiring him, was to do stupid shit like that. Give the eyebrow and give the eye roll and call people a jabroni, and whether they want him to be gay or not gay, it didn't matter.
Will he be gay in Black Adam is what I want to know.
I don't know. That's up to the wonderful minds at DC Comics and Warner Brothers.
I sure hope so.
Hey, they did it to Superman. Why can't they do it to Black Adam?
Well, let's hope so.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Boy.
I actually would. There's no way they would have the guts to do it in the movie, especially nor would.
Oh well, in a movie, yeah. I mean, there's actual money at stake there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Club. Okay. This was just really quick. I saw this stupid ass article the other day where they were talking about Robin and how Dick Grayson's always been gay.
What?
And Dick Grayson's always been gay since the very beginning. His character's always been gay. And I looked at that and I was like, he's always been this way. Damien can be whatever he wants to be, blah 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 blah. I'm like, what the fuck does Damien have to do with Dick Grayson? He goes off and becomes Nightwing and yada yada yada, and I'm just like, how do you even bring this up? How do you do an interview like this and be like, no, he's always like this? I don't get it. I don't.
Where did that article come from? The Mary Sue or something?
It was Bleeding Cool.
Oh, that figures too.
Oh, well,
Johnson's an idiot. Rich Johnson's a fool.
It's kind of like Clobby said. They're trying to speak it into existence and make it a thing.
Yep. Funny
I mean,
how
they
all
were
those
talking
years
about
it was
even
with
in the
Barbara and go ahead, sorry, and Starfire. But
they brought up the '60s Batman too, and said, "Oh, he was gay in that. He was they were
Jesus Christ."
So I don't know. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I've heard people talk about it. Okay, well, that's what camp means and I'm like, no, that's not what camp means. Campy is the whole attitude they had and how it wasn't taken seriously. It's like the rusty metal joke.
Yeah.
Holy rusted metal, Batman.
Rusted
and
metal.
Batman's like, what? And he's like, the ground, it's full of holes. It's holy. It's rusted metal. Oh my God, really? That's a campy ass joke. It's not, it has nothing to do with whether a character is straight or not.
Right.
Chris Persia, that's kind of an awkward statement.
OBS on it was never gay.
They're just projecting what they want onto Dick.
Yes.
Yeah.
In more ways than one, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you swing that way, that's absolutely fine. But they did not write that character that way then. They didn't write that character that way until recently. But this whole thing of, it's always been that way. If you've been alive that long that you remember the original Robin and that's how you saw him, good for you. That's great. I'm glad you saw it that way, but that's not the way the writers were writing it. I'm sorry. You can sit there and say that all you want to, but you weren't those writers, and you can't speak for those writers.
Yeah.
Pat S.
I would say. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Batman loves Dick like a son.
Oh, man, Richard Grayson. I'm gonna say Richard Grayson. By the way, all I know of is he was with Starfire, then Barbara, then Starfire. I mean. So I don't know if he's had that many, Chris, unless maybe another one.
Right.
Whereas Bruce has had a few more dalliances, but yeah.
By making that claim that Robin is gay and all that, they're basically kind of making the same argument that what's his name, Wortham made in Seduction of the Innocent.
Wortham. Yeah.
Yeah. That Batman and Robin are gay. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he did that. He was yeah.
And Keenly Chow says, I like this 66 show starring Adam West. I will drive Eris crazy to my last day because we'll be getting ready for bed. And she's like, what are we watching? Because I like to put on old stuff like MASH, like Batman, and I like to fall asleep to shit like that. It helps me sleep. It always has. It was like my cure for insomnia back in the day was put on something like MASH, put on something like Batman, and I could fall asleep to that.
Hey, how many times you fall asleep like watching Carol Burnett? You remember like how the end of it would go. And did you fall asleep to that kind of shit?
Oh yeah.
Well, now it's on Tubi or this. In fact, was it Roku or Sling? One of them has a Carol Burnett channel and all these other channels and stuff.
I know MeTV shows reruns of it. It shows a lot of stuff from that era.
So does Pluto. I don't wish I had MeTV. That's a great one.
And thank you, Muslim Uncle. Seriously, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate everybody in the chat being here and hanging out with us and talking with us about this. We are just as grateful to you guys as you are to us. So thank you, brother.
Speculation about that. I have not seen the quote unquote obviously things going around the Superman scene at the end of Black Adam. So I've heard that he's got a brighter costume in it. I've heard some things. I'm thinking they probably just took a scene, just took footage and used it and like added some dialogue or something, like voiced over, did some deep fake or something. I'd be willing to think he doesn't really show up for any filming.
It's him, man.
I don't believe it,
dude. You could tell something. It's a little different, man.
Like it was him.
Okay, so there is. I have seen a like phone. It's not an actual like movie footage. It is like shit someone captured on their cell phone. And Rock is talking to Waller, And that's when Waller's like, I'm gonna sick my dog on you. If you leave Kandahar, I'm gonna sick my dog on you. And Rock's like, bring it, bitch. And the roof collapses in, and boom, there he is. And at the end, when they head to each other, as soon as it goes out, you hear the music from Man of Steel. That dun 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 dun.
You mean John Williams Superman music? I heard it was that instead of the Man of Steel.
No, it is the okay. So you remember when Superman is flying at the World Ender, that thing that's gonna like.
No, I try not to listen to remember anything. Man of Steel.
I know. I love the soundtrack though. It's that song that's supposed to be at the end of it. It's
okay, I'm
like
not disputing.
the one that's.
Someone said it was John Williams, so they were wrong. That's what you're saying.
It's the one that has like pickups. Yeah. It has parts of John Williams in it, but it's mixed with It's the song that has that part from John Williams, but it's Zimmerman's. It's Zimmerman's song. With
I just tell you what someone heard from someone saying they were probably incorrect.
No, it is not the original OG 70s Superman song.
Good, just as well.
It's the one that sounds like almost like it that Zimmerman did.
No, okay, gotcha. Covered. Sorry, but I'm wondering if if he ever actually if he showed up for shoots or they just used some footage or something. Some have said that they thought it looked like that, but I don't know. I haven't seen it, so maybe they did. Maybe he showed up in that really terrible costume again. So who knows?
You know what? To be honest, the way the S and the yellow was kind of, I was hoping to see. The thing is, they don't show him from the waist down, so I was hoping like, yo, if he comes with the red trunks, I'll flip.
It could have been a scene they took from like the beginning of Batman versus Superman, because he does do that similar scene where he comes down into the roof into that terrorist room.
Right.
Oh yeah, when Lois is being held hostage.
Yes. When Lois is. I mean, but whether it is that or not, whether someone pieced this together or whatever it is, I mean, it could be fake. It might not be fake. That's just what I've seen. That's the one clip I've seen. I'll see if I can find it again. I think I retweeted it at some point.
Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I heard someone talk about it. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But I don't really like. Again, that's another thing. So, Superman is at Amanda Waller's back and call. Yeah, I don't like that. But who cares? This is not really prime.
Well, there's been times where shit has hit the fan in the comic books, and Amanda Waller would like she'd hit a button and fucking Superman would show up.
Yeah, I know, and I think it sucks. I think that's garbage too.
He's not a dog on a chain.
So whoever wrote that could take it in the face.
And like that brings me back to Dark Knight Returns. That brings me back to Batman.
52-ish too, but or even before. But
when what's his name did Batman Returns. And basically Ronald Reagan calls up Superman. Is like,
oh, Dark Knight Returns. I hated
Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, he's like, all right, boy, we've got a problem, and I'm going to send you. And it's like,
I was mad.
That's
I was pissed off at Miller for that.
Yo, that's your Ronald Reagan impersonation, man.
I was pissed off at Miller for that.
Shit!
I'm clipping roses in the road garden, and I'm going to send my boy Superman.
Oh shit!
We don't put up with any funny business around here, Soups. You need to rein in that evil Batman and teach him a lesson.
One of the many things I have problems with about the Miller's stupid Dark Knight.
So my daughter read that just recently for the very first time because I got it for her, and she said I was so pissed. I was like, well, yeah, I think that's kind of the point. I think that's what made it so popular is it pissed a lot of people off. And not in a bad way, but in a good way. You don't treat superheroes like this, and you don't do shit like this, and Superman acting the way he was.
It was very provocative at the time.
Yes.
It was. Now, again, there were some good things. I just really, issue 4 is where it fell apart for me. However, it is a masterpiece that belongs in the Louvre. compared to this stupid sequel, Dark Knight 2, in the late 90s. And then I'm not
yeah,
talking
I
about
got
the other
that
one
one
later.
too. Yeah,
But the Dark Knight 2 that he did was
yeah.
probably one of the worst comic books, if you could call it a comic book, ever made.
Yeah, I never read that one or the
You
third
talking
one.
about, hold on, you talking about like a sequel comic to
The
something that
second
was
one
like
he did in
like a big hit?
The second one he did in the late 90s.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. It's funny. A lot of comic book creators, they would have that one hit, like the Dark Knight. There's a lot of them that would have, and then so many years later, they would come with the part two. Like for instance, the long Halloween.
Yeah, they later did another
The
one.
same the same creators. Everybody came back
Right.
to do the part two. The thing is, I'd never heard if that or even better. I didn't hear nothing about it. But in reference to what you're saying, the part two to the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the part two to the Dark Knight. Yeah, that wasn't well received. And then didn't he do it? Wasn't there like a part three?
There was a part 3 a few years ago, yeah, but
yeah, exactly.
At that point, no one even cared. At this point, this was of interest to people because still within the past 15 years or so, Dark Knight was one of the most famous comics ever made.
Right,
so
exactly.
People were like, he's doing a sequel. Oh my God, DK2, and it was one of the. First of all, I think he put his pages like on a canvas thing. Then he stood 10 feet back and put ink on it and threw it with his feet at the page. That's what the art looks like. Frank Miller, he stayed at least 10 feet away from the page when he threw inks at it because the art is so horrifically bad. It's beyond belief. The story is moronic and disgusting in every single way. I love Frank. He's done some great comics, but boy, oh boy.
He didn't even write the third one, did he? Like he co-plotted and somebody else wrote it?
Brian Azzarello wrote it.
Azzarello, yeah, that's it. He wrote it.
Wow.
What happened?
That second one, dude.
What happened, Pat S, was Cool Hand Luke came down and he told Frank Miller, "What we've got here is a failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach.
I love that.
So you get what we had in this comic book like we had last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it." And then you got Frank Miller doing the whatever for 3, and he's like, "I don't like it any more than you do."
Right.
There you go, Pat S.
Shinatsky's familiar with the book. Apparently, he's nailing it.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that happened.
There's worse crap than that in there.
What?
In the second book?
I'm glad I didn't buy it.
Is that the second one, or is it?
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I own the second and the third.
Here's the thing: you can't really get offended by the story as much because you can't tell what's happening. The art's so bad. You look at it and go, "Who's that?" Okay, that's supposed to be Catwoman or Wonder Woman, whatever. It's like that's supposed to be Plastic Man. That's supposed to be the flat. It's mind-boggling. The art, they paid this guy $1 million.
Oh, that's right. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Flash have like a black suit?
Yeah, it was just they paid him $1 million to do this.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. Yeah,
you got to remind me, Clobby. You got to remind me what series was it? Where, because I can never remember the name of this damn DC series.
What's up?
So, Lois Lane gets murdered. And Superman just takes the fuck off and abandons. Okay, so that's Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
That's the one where he gets with Wonder Woman, and they're like, they tell Bruce they want him to be the godfather of their
right.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Right. That's
Kingdom Come, yeah. But it's an Elseworlds, and
Yeah.
Magog. Joker kills her, and then Magog kills Joker, and then and everyone, when Superman tries to take him in, everyone takes Magog's side, so he quits, which was some, Superman made a mistake, but yeah.
And didn't Magog destroy Kansas or some shit?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
He and the Justice Battalion are chasing.
Him and the Justice Battalion, right?
Parasite gets scared and splits Captain Atom open, and it destroys Kansas.
Yep.
Okay, so that's twice. Lois Lane's been killed, and Superman's been like, "Fuck all of you." And this is like another injustice.
He didn't become evil. No. He didn't become evil. He just became. In fact, even after she was killed, he wanted to bring the Joker in by the book. But he did. He captured him, even though he killed Lois. He didn't kill the Joker. Magog shows up and kills him in public, and he challenges Superman to a fight. And public opinion has swayed so much towards vigilantism and taking the law in your own hands. Superman said, well, that's not what I'm about. So he quit for about 10 years. The world went to shit with a bunch of superhero-powered idiots having war with each other. Mm-hmm. And finally, when the Justice Battalion blows up Kansas, he comes back. And it's a good story about redemption. Wade's an idiot, but he wrote a fun, really good story. He and Alex wrote a great story about heroism and superheroes doing more than just punching things and throwing things. And it's got all the great superhero morals. I don't know why Wade doesn't have any in his real life, but
it's fascinating. It's fascinating how that series kind of foretold what was coming in comics. Because like you said, in this future, the heroes, they just fight to fight. You know, it's like they're not even fighting for anything particular. And they're just fighting each other as much as they fight villains. And in the comics, that's pretty much exactly what wound up happening.
And that's the thing. This is about heroism. There's a scene where Superman, when he finally gets back into action, because the Earth is overrun with superpowered metahumans fighting amongst each other. And he walks into this bar where they all hang out, and he starts saying, this doesn't help. And he blows up all the liquor with his heat vision. He starts giving them a speech. Says, heroes act in a certain way. This isn't it. And he basically tells them, you're going to start watching it or you'll be dealt with. And he says, be heroes, he tells them. And of course, Batman doesn't necessarily agree with the way he's doing things. And so, it's a Kingdom Come is a great comic, I think. And but those virtues, those things that Wade was actually talking about was already kind of happening in the 90s. He was making commentary where you had a bunch of, he was basically almost making a commentary on the Image heroes they were just big muscle bound jerks. They weren't superheroes, and about heroism. And boy, did he really predict what came later.
Well,
Superman destroyed the liquor. No wonder they went down a dark path.
It's like basically it was basically it was this. It was the deconstruction of the heroes you get to see in Kingdom Come.
The reconstruction in this case, yeah.
Exactly. And but you could see how they got broken down and then and try to build it back up. But it's like, wow. And it's to the point where when you look at today's comic books, it's funny that we're having this conversation now. To be honest, that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly what we're dealing with at this moment.
Very true, Shadowski. That's very true, Shadowski.
I was about to say
and Miller's Dark Knight. I love Watchmen, but they took the wrong lessons. It was simply more deconstructing. He didn't mean for everything to do what Watchmen or Dark Knight did, but when something's popular, it gets imitated because monkey see, monkey do. It's an imitative business, whether it's comics or movies or whatever. And if something's successful, they're just going to emulate it all to hell. They're not going to learn from it.
Boy, I tell you what, man. That whole deconstruction era in comics.
Oh man, I mean, there was some comics,
that shit. But... Man, it's to the point where we're still fucking dealing with that shit now.
Oh, and it destroyed everything.
Absolutely.
Even to the point where it's like, dude, they'll do it in movies and TV shows. It's like fuck, man. And it's like I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
They can take whatever they want to and use whatever they want to, but I honestly have to ask the question: if they are trying to right this ship, from what I've heard about the new Harley Quinn series that is coming, the new Harley Quinn comic book.
Oh yeah.
Harley is going to be a guy, and Joker drives this guy crazy, and he becomes Harley Quinn. He will transition into Harley Quinn, and this is going to be the new Harley Quinn origin story. Is Harley Quinn was a blonde male doctor who becomes Harley.
Yeah, that'll sell. You're
then
kidding,
that's
right? You're making that up,
no,
right?
I'm not making it up. No.
I don't want to live in this world anymore.
I can't wait to see the sales figures on that puppy.
I'm serious. I'm not kidding. If I was kidding, I would just say, yeah, I'm just pulling your fucking leg. No, this is the new Harley Quinn comic book series that's going to reboot her story arc or its story arc or whatever you want to call her, him, whatever. Is that Joker's going to drive him crazy? They're going to get a complete change and come back as Harley Quinn, and that's how him and Joker, her and Joker, whatever you want to.
So basically, the
Whatever
most
pronoun
prominent
you
trans
want.
character in comics is going to be mentally ill.
Yes.
Okay, so basically at that point, Joker's hooking up with a trans chick.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck out of here. All right, I got you.
Okay.
Man. All right. That's what's up.
DC, you could just not print comics and save money. I mean, because you're not going to. I mean, really, at this point, why don't you just not make anything? Why, if you're trying to tell people not to buy your comics, that's all you got to do.
Okay. So now the Joker's gay at this point. Come on, fuck out of here. All right. So whatever. Oh shit.
June Wong with $2 super chat says, "What the fuck? That's super offensive to trans women."
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't think these people, they're so woke, they don't realize the implications of these ideas they have.
Right.
Because you're basically setting up this trans character as a violent lunatic. And
signal virtue to virtue.
Well, it's
right.
It's the Jurassic Park chaos. I'm so sorry. Chaostician idea of they're so preoccupied with whether or not they can get away with it, they never stop to think of whether they should do it in the first place. The Ian Malcolm idea of comic books today, ladies and gentlemen, is should we do this? They don't think about that. They just think about, well, can we get away with doing this? Well, then it's a great idea. If we can get away with it and we can put it out, whether it sells or not, it's a great idea. It's not about the sales. It's not about them selling comic books anymore. It's about this ideology and this political statement and all of this bullshit that they want to throw in here. This is why independent comics are kicking the shit out of mainstream comics every single week, every single month, every single year. For the last couple of years is they don't care about the story. They don't care about the characters. They just care about throwing out this message and pushing their agenda into a book that shouldn't happen in the first place.
Oh, speaking of that kind of thing, did you hear about the new Young Justice Dark Crisis comic?
I've heard it's a shit show. I don't know what the story is.
Oh boy. Look, Loki, if you got a moment, if I'm not mistaken, they're on issue 5 or 6, but it's the latest issue of Dark Crisis. Young Justice is their Young Justice. How they're handling the Dark Crisis. Basically, if you know Young Justice, Young Justice is about Connor Kent, Bart Allen, and Tim Drake. You can switch all the other characters around Young Justice, but as long as you got those 3 core members, then that's Young Justice. They pull a fourth wall She-Hulk kind of deal where they bring in like Alan Scott Green Lantern, and they bring in almost every young character that's a part of the Teen Titans, or who's around DC right now, and basically tell the fans to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, like
and on a She-Hulk episode, what was that, 9, the last episode or whatever the fuck, right. Like that finale, it was on the level of that, using the part that breaks the fourth wall is Mistleplick's daughter.
Oh, what's this from? I had
to. What's this Dark Crisis number 5 or 6? This last issue.
Oh.
And Mistleplick's daughter breaks the fourth wall.
Mixius Pitalik has a daughter.
Yeah, well, Yeah, I guess I call it missile plate
Okay.
from way back in the day.
The
So
pronunciation is Mitch's Piddly, but I'm saying so. But that's not here or there. He has a daughter. Okay.
right, which breaks the fourth wall
Of course.
and tells the fans to go fuck themselves.
Really? In those words?
Oosh. You know what?
I'm just curious. I'm just asking. I don't know, man.
Not in those words, but basically,
It's a screw off to the fans.
yeah, it's a fuck you to the to the fans of Young Justice, man. And
in the you talking about in the cartoon?
no, in the comic book.
In the comic book. Okay, it's recent. Or
Yeah, well, the thing is, they're going through a thing called Dark Crisis,
okay.
and it's the Young Justice. You know how when they have a big crossover.
Sure.
The smaller titles get get affected by it, and the Young Justice one was the worst thing that I've like it was like the equivalent of the last episode of She-Hulk,
right?
But it was done to Young Justice fans, so it just ruined the whole thing. Like I said, you guys, you can pull it up, man, and
no, I hear you. I believe you.
That shit is fucking wild, man. When you look at that last page, man, it's a trip, man.
Yeah, let's start a business and tell all the customers to go screw themselves. See how that works out for you.
Is the daughter trans though?
I got something. Hold on. Let me share this because Persia just sent me this and said Bendis is gonna make Harley a member of the JLA.
What?
Whatever.
Right there.
Bendis is a friggin' idiot. He's the worst. I used to think maybe JMS is probably the worst comic writer as far as the big names are concerned anyway. But Bendis is probably the worst comic writer I've ever seen. I mean, other than at least as far as the big names are concerned. As far as why Swamp Thing in there? Oh, he's darkly dark. I'm sorry. I'm not. Jessica Cruz. Ugh. This sucks.
I
think they already did that because I think Bendis is done at DC.
Yeah, I think that's old. I was going to say
He's
that looks like
DC already?
a few years old. I've seen that picture before.
He's still got some stuff coming out, but
oh my goodness!
So I hope he is done because it wasn't either. He was the one that was put in charge of this. As you know how much I love my Legion of Superheroes, and we're going to do a Legion of Superheroes cartoon for HBO Max, and it was supposed to be him in charge of it, which would be rancid, putrid trash because he's garbage, and even though I hate Modern Legion anyway, the way they've done to it, the people who are reading Modern Legion will tell you how bad it is. Bendis is just puke. He took Superman, a character that people were at least sort of liking what Peter Tomasi was doing on it. I didn't bother much with the modern stuff, but friends of mine who were reading it really liked it, and they took it away from him and gave it to Bendis, and now everybody hates it.
Yeah, sales plummeted when he got on the book.
And they advertised it like it was the next coming. You'd have thought it was the next coming of Neil Adams or Jack Kirby. Like, hey, we got the biggest. You thought John Byrne comes back from the 80s into the future to do a Superman comic. It's going to be big, everybody. That's the way they advertised Bendis doing Superman. His name changed his name to Bend Ass because everything he does.
Ben.
I hate Bend Ass.
Bend that ass over, Bendis. Yeah.
Bend Ass sucks.
Oh, shit.
Phantom says they're still working on that Legion cartoon. They could burn and
yeah. That Legion. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 2 or 3 days, they started showing the actual the pictures, the actual artwork to show you how they look like. Yeah, so that's recent. Like last 2 or 3 days, I started seeing new Legion of Superhero cartoons,
concept art.
Yeah, and all that shit. Yeah.
Hope it doesn't get off the ground.
Shit, the way they were showing the pictures, looked like something's about to happen.
I wouldn't put it past them, buddy. I wouldn't.
Why? You don't think nobody's interested?
Why would they be? Look, I'm the biggest Legion of Superheroes fan in the world, but I'm also going to admit that nobody really cares about them. They're not like not like the X-Men or even the Justice League, or something like that.
What about Doom? What about Doom Patrol?
What about them? I mean, they have a TV
No, I'm just saying you don't think the Legion of Superheroes would have at least garnish enough interest the way Doom Patrol has?
Let me ask you something. What is the biggest team that DC has? The biggest team lineup that DC has?
I mean, in terms of the number of
You
members?
mean most famous?
No. I mean the most famous
It's
team of
Justice
superheroes.
League.
It's the Justice League. And you know what the Justice League brought in for DC? Absolute shit.
Right.
Brought in a giant war between fucking Zack Snyder and fucking. I mean, look at X-Men. X-Men did better than every single fucking everything leading up to Justice League. Look at Avengers. Avengers kicked the living shit out of Justice League, and Avengers isn't even the top team at Marvel.
No. Well, X-Men, I guess, is the most famous Marvel team, and their movies don't do anywhere close to what Avengers. So it just goes to show you, in movies, the Avengers definitely are the biggest thing in movie as far as movie superheroes, because none of the X-Men movies got anywhere close to Avengers money. However, in comics, the X-Men are more popular. So.
I think if they were done right, the Legion could be really popular because I mean the ingredients are there. You've got superheroes, you've got sci-fi. Right. You've got like teen drama and angst and all that stuff. I think it's popular if they did it right, but I just don't trust them to do it.
Well, I mean, you had like a diverse group of characters. I mean, really diverse with, especially with their power set. I mean, you had some of them that had not only diverse, but like, it's not the same old thing. They're so different from each other, man. And the fact that they all click together as a team. I don't know, man. I think they have just as much or even better shot in a successful show as Doom Patrol. That was the whole point of why I brought them up, because for Doom Patrol to be on what they're doing, and they're what, season 4?
I don't know. I never watched it.
Shit, they got a new season coming out now. So
I believe you.
Actually, they're still Brandon Fraser and all them. They're still doing something right. Because I already know.
Go ahead.
Well, no, all I'm saying is I know Legion of Superheroes has a chance of doing something, or at least, if Doom Patrol was able to do it, Legion of Superheroes has a chance. It all depends on whoever who's ever on the project.
It'll be garbage.
It's all up to the creatives whether it succeeds or it fails.
Well, it may succeed, but it will be garbage. So.
Adega sent me this tweet, and it says, if it tells you anything, at the very end of Black Adam, the entire fucking theater clapped and cheered. Shit was beautiful. Welcome home. Also great fucking movie. I did not expect to like it that much. That shit was bomb. Going to see it again with Dad. And Dwayne Johnson responds to this saying, best part of this is knowing you're going to go see it with your dad. Love that. Makes me miss my old man. You guys have fun.
Who's this person saying this? We don't know.
Tristan.
I don't know Tristan. Check if he's got any Snyder crap all over his page.
So this is.
You might say, no, hello, Tristan. Nothing personal, but who knows? Maybe it's good. I have no interest in the thing, but I have toyed with the idea of going to sitting through it and reviewing it, but I don't know, man. I don't really want to.
To be real, the fact that it'll be the first time the Just Side of America in any way, shape, form, or fashion will be hitting any kind of screen other than the animated cartoon that they got for the first time ever, the animated movie.
They've been on TV, but you mean big screen, obviously.
Yeah, right. It's like it's their time, man. Especially for them to be the first superhero team in comic book existence.
What I heard about Hawkman is really bad,
Avengers, Defenders, Invaders. I don't give a fuck who you can come up with a superhero team. The first one ever in comic book history, the Just Side of America. And it's good to finally see somebody show up on some screen and for that team to get it, their acknowledgement, man.
Accepting anything they slop out to you and not wanting it done right, though. I can't do that, man. Well, I won't tell you what they've done to Hawkman in this thing. I'll let you just see it for yourself.
No, I already know what they've done to Hawkman.
I'm not talking about the swap.
No, I'm not accepting this. I'm not accepting it. It's good to see that the name is out there. I just don't like what they actually did.
They should call him the Falcon. Put it like that. And I'm not talking about.
Oh yeah, I read, dude.
Color of his skin, if you know.
Hey
what I mean.
man, hey, I tell you what, man. If you'd have watched my videos, I already went there with it, man. I've already called them Falcon. I've
got this soft spot
He's got
for
artificial
Hawkman, and Hawkgirl. I want to see, and I don't want that artificial shit. I want to see
real wings,
OG real wings on the fucking Hawkman, on a Hawkgirl. I want to see maces being brought down into people's heads, the spiked maces. I want some kick-ass shit. And it seems like whether it's in Smallville or whatever, they're going to screw it up with some fake-ass shit.
He's got fake wings. He don't have real wings, okay? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to spoil or anything for you. I'm just saying. Hawkman is not Hawkman. I don't care whether they swap his race or not. If he don't have the wings right, and if he's not Thanagarian or some kind of reincarnated version, if you want to go Golden Age, he's not Swamp. He's not anything to do with Hawkman.
All right, because to be real, I don't, like I said, they don't talk about what kind of, I don't know, man. Like I said, I knew he's race swapped, so I'm already, that's already.
I'm not talking about that part though.
Well, I mean, but even then,
he can reincarnate into different people's bodies.
So
I can believe. I don't give a shit if Hawkman's black, white, orange, brown, Mexican. I don't give a shit what body he goes into. If it's Hawkman, it's Hawkman. Okay, that's something that they can work around when you get resurrected in a new body.
But we don't even know if he's Carter Hall.
No, we don't. But what we do know is he doesn't have real. He doesn't have real wings. They're just like the Falcon.
Then he's not Hawkman.
It's just artificial, like Falcon has. Is what I'm saying.
Then he's not fucking Hawkman. I'm sorry. If he has fake wings, he's not fucking Hawkman.
Most versions of Hawkman have had artificial wings, though.
No.
Well,
that's the thing. Like if like I did a video on the first time that we saw Hawkman, and he just standing there looking to the left or the right. And all of a sudden, like you see him like clench his fist, and the wings fucking pop up out of his back. And when I saw that shit, I was like, "Fuck that!" That's exactly the same shit Falcon did.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about that. How it's they're making him like Falcon. That didn't even.
I mean, just think about it. Especially when they show him jumping out of the fucking airplane, and it's like he just regular clothes. He just jumps out of the fucking airplane. Of course, the wings are gonna come out of his back. And he's, and all this other shit before he touches the ground, his suit's gonna come out and he's gonna fucking fly. He's gonna fucking do like he's gonna dip down and then fucking soar through the sky, and they're gonna make him look like a badass eagle or some shit. I'm telling come on, man.
He's got the mace. There you go.
But you know what? The whole thing I saw with this movie and on every trailer is Hawkman getting his ass beat the fuck up.
Naturally.
He was getting his ass beat. He was getting thrown against a car, hit it on the side of a building. He got caught in midair. He got punched. He got thrown through some glass. I was like, damn, Hawkman, everything I see on Hawk, I can't from all the 2 or 3 trailers that I seen, I cannot respect everything I saw. Hawkman was getting his ass whooped. He come with the mace. Dude, he getting his ass beat in every trailer. And it's all different clips.
Well, Black Adam's pretty powerful. I mean, he's not an easy.
Yeah, shit, man. Like I said, I own the comics, man. He's fucking awesome, man. And then I don't know, to be honest, like even when The Rock was like, "Hey, man, I've been knowing I love Black Adam ever since I saw him on a comic book cover when I was a kid." Look, man, look, The Rock is older than all of us, and when he was a kid before we were kids. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm being fucking honest.
I think Clobby's got a couple of years on him.
Who?
No. But how old's The Rock? Like what, 50?
I'm way older, dude. Yeah.
No. The Rock's about 50 years old. But this one I'm trying to explain to y'all, man. Whatever comic book that The Rock thought he saw, what comic book when he was a kid that he saw with Black Adam on the cover? What Black Adam was rarely on any covers, man.
Okay, here's the story.
he was on the 70s comic with Shazam number 28 or something when they brought him back, whatever it was.
Here's the
Yeah.
story, and this is supposedly where this picture comes from. There is a picture of Dwayne Johnson sitting
that.
back in the there, and he's sitting back in the back of an event where his dad was wrestling, and he's sitting there reading a comic book, and supposedly that's the Black Adam comic
You got a
book he
picture of
was
that?
reading. There's a
Man.
picture. I will see if I can find it.
Well, yeah, let's do that.
I'm sure he did. I mean, I don't doubt that he read a comic. I mean,
Because if it's one of the old 70s one, then it's the one that I have. I want to see this shit, man. Because I heard the same thing, man. But all right, well, fuck. We're all about to see the fucking comic book he was looking at when he was a kid. Because that shit, I'm wondering what the fuck did he saw? Because there's only very few comic books that Black Adam was on the cover of.
That's true. Well,
when he was a kid.
Yeah, when he was a kid, but remember, like you said, in the late 80s and early 90s with the Powers of Sam series and stuff like that, Ord Wade, all those guys, Roy Thomas and all them, and there was even a Mandrake series, like Tom Mandrake drew or whatever, where they did bring him back. So they brought him back in the early 80s and into the 90s when he was pretty young. But when he was a kid, you're right, there's not that many. Although there are a few. Like he got brought back later.
Look, because I have some of the limited, like I have the limited series that. Like they were doing a lot of Shazam and Captain Marvel limited series throughout the 80s, and I have all of them. So it's like I said, I have all those comic books, man. So I wonder what comic book is he talking about that was so influential that he was like Black Adam's a badass, because they weren't doing a whole lot of Black Adam. And then when Black Adams really started killing superheroes, that was in the fucking 90s, man, in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So that's the fuck he was reading, because people thought Black Adam was a joke the same way they thought fucking Captain Marvel was a joke. Neither one of them got that fucking respect, man. And I knew, because I collected the comic books the same way I collected Aquaman, and everybody was fucking laughing at him like, yo, these guys are fucking jokes, man. So I'm trying to figure out like what the fuck is he talking about, and what comic book is he referring to. So hopefully we get a chance to see that shit, man.
I'm looking for it. The closest I've come up with is the landscape thing that they were talking about this in, where it's like Black Adam comics for the first time. No, this was like a
sex bots.
Yeah, the sex bots are here.
They're gone. Chris got them. So all I know is that I saw it in like one of the interview things they did where they zoom in on this picture of him reading a comic backstage as a kid. So I doubt you're going to see what exact comic book he's reading either.
Yeah, because I heard you can see the actual comic. He was because I got 28. I got issue 28, so
yeah. I think it was 28, but he just popped up in there. But again, like I said, not too long after that, into the 80s, they kept bringing him back and using him as a villain.
A DC TV comic. Huh.
I think he popped up in a DC Comics Presents, didn't he, or something like that?
Shinansky says this film is produced by his company, so he paid for this.
Yep,
right.
DC TV comic. I think that means that comic was made when the Shazam show was on Saturday morning.
Yep. Because when they do a DC TV comic, that was around the time when they did the Shazam TV show, the ISIS TV show. Because I have the ISIS. I have like issue 1, 2, and 3.
ISIS had a comic for a while. Yeah.
Right.
A DC TV comic.
Oh yeah, just like Marvel would put Marvel's TV sensation on the cover, like Spider-Man and Hulk.
Yeah. I think the Super Friends comic had that
Super
on
Friends,
it too.
that's true. That's right. There you go. And Welcome Back, Kotter, when they did a comic of that. And a treasury. I'm kidding. I don't think they put that on that one. But so yeah. Anyway, he's a villain. Now he's got a movie that's gonna not do particularly well. My prediction could be wrong.
That's how it's looking.
Yeah, it's not getting a lot of good word of mouth, is it? You planning to go see it, Classic?
Yeah, I'm probably going to go see it tomorrow night.
And you 24 tomorrow? Or?
Yeah, hopefully sometime over the weekend.
I
Now
was
you
going to
guys-
see it Friday night, but actually got plans now. So
You guys are trying to guilt me into saying it. I know. I can hear you in your voice. And your
Oh, on Saturday, we're going to do a live viewing of the director's cut of Wrath of Khan at the Hilton. So that'll be the movie I'm gonna be watching on Saturday night.
Cool.
I'm not gonna see this weekend. I might watch it if I can get it VOD'd to me. I'll watch it when I get back. So it all depends
Gotcha.
on whether that happens or not.
yeah, I'm going to be there too.
Cool.
You are.
Yeah.
Indeed, you are.
Nice.
So I don't know when tomorrow we're gonna be getting in there because I'm still waiting on the posters. The posters were supposed to be here today. They are not here today, so I will be waiting until we get the posters tomorrow and then leaving as soon as we get the posters.
Well, that's just you got something going on this weekend, huh? That's right.
Oh yeah, the
Big thing,
meetup. Yeah, the meetup.
And okay, cool.
Apparently, he was reading a copy of Sergeant Rock.
Found it?
Yeah, it's funny. The Phantom Outsider said the issue is Shazam number 28.
That was the first appearance when they brought him back. That is.
Right.
From the
Yeah.
Golden Age.
Yeah, that's
since Golden Age. That was the first. Yeah.
boy. Like I said, I got that issue.
That's probably key collectors have driven that sucker into the.
Oh yeah,
I
that
just
motherfucker's nice and minty fresh. Yeah, I love mine.
I just got this. This was Dwayne Johnson in the 80s. And, he's reading a copy of Sergeant Rock from DC Comics.
Dwayne Johnson, that's a dude from
That's Shane Black.
Now I knew I remembered that mini series from the early 80s or 90s with by Roy Thomas and Tom Mandrake. Yeah, Black Adam's on that, and the second issue's going through the roof because he's on the cover.
Yeah, because he got that's fucking Voltron on the back of that fucking.
Then he was on he was
Claude
DC,
Parrish.
DC Comics Presents number 49.
That DC superhero roast. Yeah, I forgot
Yes,
about that.
that was great. He was on DC Comics Presents number 49. So I mean, like they brought him back after that one appearance in Shazam 28.
No, that's not The Rock. Yeah, you are correct. Yeah, that's Shane Black from Predator.
For a long time, I thought that superhero roast was just some kind of weird dream I had or something. I wasn't.
Nah, that motherfucker's real. I need a copy of that motherfucker, man.
I know. I saw it when it was.
Ooh, that motherfucker there is real.
They had the superhero roast, and then they had the challenge of the superheroes.
Oh, the Charge of the Superheroes. Yup,
2
with
nights
Adam
in a-
West, Burt Ward.
They were on consecutive nights. I remember I went nuts when those came on for the one time they aired, only like 1979 or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I went crazy, man.
Yo, them shits were awesome, man.
On NBC.
And then hold on, was it with the Legion of Doom?
Mm-hmm.
Yup, yeah.
Pretty much. It had the Rogues Gallery again because Superman and Wonder Woman's rights were elsewhere. Let's say they had Captain Marvel. Not Captain Marvel, but you couldn't have Superman and Wonder Woman in it.
Yup. Yeah. They had the original Captain Marvel in there. Yup.
Yeah, real deal Cap Marvel.
Yep.
Exactly. Flash, and of course Hawkman and all these. All the real deals.
Dude, you could actually get that shit on DVD, man.
It's probably on YouTube. It used to be. But yeah. I think they. I don't know. I think they did. They may have done a YouTube of that. I mean, YouTube. Listen to me. A DVD of that, I believe.
Yeah. I think they do have a DVD. Damn, that shit there, man. That shit is cool as the fucking Star Wars Holiday Special, man.
It was like I said, the roast, but then they had the challenge too. It was just
hey, let me ask you this: do you remember back in the early, if I'm not mistaken, it was 81, 82? They did that shit with all the comic book strips where they had Kathy and Hagar the Horrible and all that. You remember that?
Are you talking about what? Was it a live action?
Well, I'm saying they were all live action.
Don't recall from the old comic strips and stuff.
Yeah, they did one comic book special back in like the early '80s where you got to see Kathy, Hagar the Horrible. What was that? The Witch.
You keep saying that name, and I'm just like,
Hagar, I remember, but
is that
No, he was a
Kathy
Viking. He was a Viking with
no, the other one, the chick,
Kathy
Hagar?
that's that upper own ass feminist bitch, right?
I don't know. She was a witch with a thing on her nose.
Not Kathy though.
Kathy.
Yeah, and then Kathy was yeah.
With
Yeah. She's the feminist chick. Yeah, they did like a live action
that everybody made fun of.
Right.
Or you just when you were a kid flipping through the paper looking at the strips, you just ignored it.
Yeah.
Just whizzed right.
What they did was they did a live action version of all the comic book strips, and it was actually done by the actual syndication, and they actually hired the actress that played Kathy was a famous actress too. I can't remember what the fuck her name was.
Never seen.
Matter of fact, it was like in the early '80s, man, and that was some good shit, man.
He said it had little Raquel Welch as Little Orphan Annie. Man, I want to watch that right now.
What?
Yeah, look, I'm telling you, dude, they had some shit, man.
Carol O'Connor as Daddy.
I don't remember that at all.
Wow. I knew he would though.
Raquel Welch is a Little Orphan Annie.
Raquel Welch could be anything she wants to be.
Yeah.
The villains included, Mordru, Sinestro, Solomon Grundy. I remember all that shit. Thaddeus Savannah, which is the bad guy.
Thaddeus Bulldog.
For Captain Marvel.
Right.
And Giganta. Yeah, I remember that. Didn't they have the cheetah also?
Jeff Altman was Weather Wizard. They had cheetah.
I remember that shit. Yo, the legendary Tron. What's up? Look at him.
What is up, Tron? What is going on?
What's up, Tron?
Greetings program.
Program indeed.
I have that comic book right. In mint condition, that right next door. Love that shit. So if that's the comic book he's talking about, okay, then I can see if that was so influential for him. But shit, the thing is, man, how old was he when he got that comic, man?
Well, he would have been that's like 77ish or something like that, probably. So he'd have been a youngster, but he'd been,
Yeah, but the thing is when people saw him in that video, how old was he, man? That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's not a video. It's not a video. It's just a picture of him sitting there reading a comic. I didn't see what comic it was. So if people have got that picture and have zoomed in and say that's the comic book he was reading, okay. I just saw the picture of him sitting like in a locker room reading a comic. This was when his dad was supposed to be wrestling.
Okay.
So that's all I've seen as I saw that. I can't find it. I've been looking for it ever since we brought it up. Chris Persia couldn't find it. Chris Persia sent me that. So I don't even know if you can see what the hell comic book he's reading. But if what they say is true, that's the comic book he was reading.
That's a Kurt Schaffenberger cover and interior, by the way. And it was I don't know if I bought this when it came out. I was buying this. I bought this fairly regularly, but I can't remember if I bought this issue. I don't think I did.
Well, if he was 5, he can piss right off because I don't remember about comic books when I was 5.
No,
exactly.
I barely remember going to see Empires or Return of the Jedi.
I saw some kind of interview the other day that was asking where he was saying that Superman was always his favorite character till he discovered Black Adam, and I think he was talking about discovering him in the 2000s.
Unless this was like a hand-me-down from a sibling or something, or if somebody just gave it to him when he was older and said, "Hey, read this. This is badass."
He's talking, but see, the thing is he's talking this shit like, "Yo, when I was a kid, I read that Black Adam comic. He was on the cover and he was badass, and that made me fucking fall in love with this guy."
Well, this isn't the only one he was on the cover of. He was, like I said, he was on the cover of DC Comics Presents a little bit later, and that Shazam miniseries by Thomas and Mandrake, and then later, like you said, Power of Shazam used them. So
because I own those, I own all those, and I know about the DC Comics Presents because I own that comic book too.
Right, it doesn't have necessarily have to be this one here.
And I've got
If at all.
comic books from when I was younger than that. I still have them today. I've got my Return of the Jedi comics that I had when I was a little kid, right after Return of the Jedi came out. The four
issue series, yeah.
that they did. So I still have those. Those are mine. That's not
Well-
something I rebought later. Those are comic books I still have from when I was a kid. Not something I repurchased because I traced the shit out of them and probably ruined them. But I traced them. So
Well, see, the whole thing too, what The Rock is saying is like Black Adam was only on the cover of so much shit. Like he wasn't around so much, man. So it's like, what the fuck did he read, and what the fuck is he talking about? Because if not, he's lying.
Well, if his family gave them to him and he was older, then he's not lying. If somebody gave them to him, let's say that was a wrestler's comic and he showed up and someone was like, "Here, kid," and he handed him a comic he was reading and boom, he got it. You have no idea where it fucking came from, and he didn't have to read it the month it fucking came out. It could have been years later. It could have been 2 years later. It could have been from someone's collection and they saw him sitting there twiddling his thumbs and they were like, "Here, read this, kid."
Could have got this. He could have been this very comic that he read 10 years later. I doubt it, because he's just in this one, he's just a villain running around, and if you read this comic, it's not like he's not that scary or anything. But I mean,
Shinansky said he read him after pulling him out of his ass.
Much like the movie he just made, probably.
Yeah.
Just like the movie.
There you go.
So do you guys think this is gonna take off and be a huge movie? Do you think this is just gonna be a stinker?
I don't see it doing.
I don't know. I guess my whole issue with it is that if he's been reading fucking Black Adam since he was a kid, then he knows who the fuck that character really is. There's no way in hell he would have came out with the movie that he came out with. That's all I'm saying. If you know better, you do better. And the fact that you know what's what, would you take this shit into a whole different direction the way you did?
He might not think it's bad. He might think this is what it should be, though, because he's been reading that modern, like Screw 52, and even a little bit before it, that version probably.
Right. Well,
he probably
like I said, he is doing the new 52. I said that from always. Like, he is doing the new 52 version. So that's it. So basically, he adapted the new version versus what he grew up reading all these years. What does that tell you?
I think Shinatsky had the right idea there.
Oh, that one, unless an actor says to say detailed information about a character, they're acting, hence their profession.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're playing the role of an actor that loves comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Arnold, Arnold, every time he was hyping a new movie, he'd always say, like, "This is the best script I've ever read. It's the best movie I've ever made," until he does the next one.
Yeah.
We are breaking new ground in movie history by making this movie.
Robert Downey Jr., bless him, he said he liked Ryan, he was a Iron Man fan, and he was, when he took on the role and all this kind of stuff, it turned out, and later I heard in subsequent interviews, a little later, I heard him say, when people would kind of, talk about the character, he would say, I read him once or twice. Basically, I believe me, probably picked up a couple Iron Man comics here and there. He wasn't a hardcore anything. He'd seen a couple when he was a kid and thought they were okay. Was he an Iron Man freak or anything? No. But at least probably, he did say he liked the character, but I'd seen him asked in interviews about different stuff about comics, and it was just sort of hemmed and hawed where he didn't really know that much.
Well, the rich guy that's drinking, what Tony Stark was in a lot of those, in some of those comics, it's very similar to Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, but actually, he never talked like the way Robert Downey Jr. changed his character a lot, because Tony Stark was never Mr. Peter Parker wisecrack every 5 seconds.
No. He was just like
he's Robert Downey Jr. He's not really Tony Stark in the movie, which is fine. I like those movies.
I think that the version of Tony in that movie is he's kind of a cross between the original Tony and then the ultimate version of Tony.
Yes.
The Ultimate Iron Man. Because in the Ultimates, Tony is more like that. He's more kind of all snarky and making wisecracks all the time.
And that may have been what's his face, Robert Downey Jr. was shown a lot of and stuff. Yeah, he was very engaged in the character. Don't get me wrong, But
Right.
Tony Stark was never that much of a wise ass, and other than maybe. And if you tell me that was way as an Ultimates, I'll believe you because I hate Ultimates, so I never really messed with it. So if that's the way it was, then there you go.
You know, the funny part about that is
not my Iron Man.
The real Tony Stark from the real Marvel, is really like Robert Downey Jr. in real life. And then when Robert Downey Jr. played the role of Tony Stark, he took over to act like more like the Ultimate version of Iron Man.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what
sure
we
they
were
kind of
saying.
played that up.
But in real life, Tony, Robert Downey is exactly like fucking Tony Stark in the real fucking comics, and then when he portrays him as the Ultimate version. But it's like it's fucking they're both one and the same.
Okay. Go, Classic. You were saying something.
I was just gonna say. I mean, I think that, like I say, I think they kind of based it somewhat in part off of the Ultimates version, but I also think once Downey Jr. got the role, they kind of played that aspect up maybe more than it originally was because Downey Jr. is just so good at it. He just did it so well, and it fit him so well, and it was, I think that may have been a factor as well.
Well, a lot of the characters in the MCU are based on the Ultimate Universe. A lot of them are. Look at the Cap story and look at Cap's
story.
All of them
are.
A lot of it is based on the Ultimates. Yeah, and there was some good stuff in the Ultimates, and there was some shit. So,
and only in a fairly superficial way, at least. So, not all the evil, horrible, dark trash that the Ultimates have in it, though, either as much. So.
Yeah, they kind of cherry picked different things from the Ultimates universe. I mean, like Thor is pretty much, at least in the beginning, is pretty much like the Marvel. Pretty much the straight Marvel version, not the Ultimates version, which is significantly different. And so is the Hulk, but then Cap, like his origin is pretty much the original Cap, but then his outfit is like the Ultimates version.
Yeah, exactly.
So they kind of cherry pick different aspects,
Kind of like Star Wars.
The Rock is a fan of paychecks, not so much.
There you go, Claude.
That's right.
There you go, man.
Any last thoughts on whether this is going to be hit or miss?
Well, the box office projections aren't good. I'm not going to predict it, but it doesn't look. The outlook isn't too good for it. I'll say that.
Yeah. I'm going to say again. I would be surprised if it doesn't completely just disappear after a very short time and just have a very short run, very short lifespan, and go to HBO Max within a month or two.
Hell, I'm just surprised that the sex bots keep attacking your chat. I'm just like,
well, they usually I don't go over an hour, so they don't show up because they don't like anybody that doesn't go over an hour. So
there you go.
June Wong with $5 super chat said, I read Iron Man when my brother borrowed home the books from his rich friend in the 90s. I was a little offended by RDJ's Iron Man, but I got over it.
There you go. At least you got over
because
it.
yeah. That's the thing. It's like I'm more into the 90s Iron Man, which is the Iron Man of the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Seeing the original suit in the first Iron Man movie, seeing the original Iron Man suit in that cave.
Yeah, the gray one.
The gray one is what made me go, I've got to fucking see this. I've got to effing see this.
Yo, that shit. That shit was a beast. Yeah, I love that shit, man.
Love that movie.
Flamethrower and all. Snowed Up Live. What's up, brother? We're just getting out of here.
Man?
We're giving our final thoughts on whether Black Adam's going to be a hit or miss. I think it's going to be a miss. I think it's not going to do that well. Rock can bring all the star power he wants to. If it's not a good story and it's not a good movie, people are going to call it trash. People are going to get the word out. And nobody's going to go up and see it.
Well, that's about right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The only thing I heard about this movie is that it doesn't necessarily need to be a hit. It just needs to be something that can coast by.
Well, then they're idiots. then they're idiots and they deserve everything they get. Every bad word of mouth, every horrible tale, they deserve every fucking bit of that because DC doesn't need to be coasting. DC needs to be coming in the ring, swinging their fucking asses off because Marvel is kicking the shit out of them and dumping them down, and Marvel sucks. The MCU sucks. Fucking She-Hulk sucked. Loki sucked. Hawkeye sucked. All these fucking Disney series can blow it up their own ass because they fucking suck. If DC's got a pair of balls, they're going to come out swinging and go, you know what? You want all this bullshit and all this political crap? Fine, you can have it. We're going to come out and we're going to make some badass superhero movies. And if they don't, then they can fucking suck it.
They can definitely suck for sure.
I'm afraid at this point they've put out so many subpar movies. I think they've just kind of damaged the brand, to be honest, and it's just not going to have the kind of pull it might have had a few years ago.
Where's the fucking Tylenol?
I can't see this thing doing any beeswax.
Now, Loki, you said you had a Snickers before this.
I did. I had
Maybe
two.
you need another one.
I had too many Snickers, and I had a fucking Reese's peanut butter cup.
What?
And I hadn't eaten anything, and I was out all fucking day dealing with DMB and getting my hair cut and shaved and all that shit. So I was like, I just got back and sat down when we were going to do this. So I hadn't eaten anything. I'd eat something really quick, and I needed a little burst of energy to get going, and the candy bar fucking did it.
Yeah,
put the candy bar down.
Yeah.
The fucking Loki TV show.
Yeah,
The Loki TV show sucked. So they all God, I'm so pissed. Put the candy bar down. Put the cookie down.
Loki transforms into Betty White.
Feed them bitches to my alligator. God, that I've got chained up in the back. Superman chained up. I let my dog off his chain. Who the fuck gives Amanda Waller the if I was Superman, I'd be like, bitch, and she'd be hitting that button. I'd be like, I'm not coming to save your ass. Calling me your dog. I let my dog off his leash. Fuck you, Amanda Waller.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crap.
Anyway, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so very much. Clobberin Times, 24/7 Fusion Media, and Classic Comics for being here tonight. We did not have a plan going into this. We just threw it up. I messaged the boys earlier today and said, guys, I haven't had time to plan shit. And Clobby and 24 were like, let's just roll with it. We'll talk Black Adam. Okay.
There you go. In a half hour, I'll be on again. So.
And Clobby's going to be on. Why don't you throw that out there?
Andy Masterson will be on with me tonight. So,
what are you guys going to be talking about?
I don't know. Stuff and things and comics and toys and stuff. We'll talk about stuff for sure, though. We will not be silent, as far as I know.
Yeah, get more Clobby in 30 minutes, guys. There's the link. It's in chat. Zaslav needs to clean house and fucking start over, and he's not doing that. We need to get his ass in there, get his ass cleaning house and starting over, and actually giving a shit about the product instead of all this other bullshit that they seem to give a shit about. Hey, you know what? Let's give Harley Quinn a dangler. That'll fix fucking everything.
Yeah.
Shit.
Can't wait to miss it.
So we're out of here, guys. Take care. Be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to owner. And we'll see you guys next week on the Comic Book Roundtable.
Peace.
Hey.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.